Famous Ouija board murder case stories. Ouija boards have long been a source of fascination and fear, with many people believing they can communicate with spirits. While most people use them for harmless fun, there have been incidents where the use of Ouija boards had been linked to criminal activity or tragic events. Here are some famous cases involving the Ouija board without getting into more detail. The murder of Tara Exposito. In 2010, 26-year-old Tara Exposito was killed in her Florida home. Her killers, who were acquaintances, claimed they were inspired by a Ouija board session that led them to believe Tara was possessed. The murder of Debbie Lynn Kirkwood. In 1975, Debbie Lynn Kirkwood was murdered in her California home. Her husband claimed that a Ouija board instructed him to kill her. The murder of Anthony Goodbye Johnson. Anthony Goodbye Johnson was a fictional character invented by Vicky Fraginals, who claimed to have communicated with him through a Ouija board. Fraginals was later convicted of murdering her husband. The murder of Cassie Jo Starter. In 2006, Cassie Jo Starter was brutally murdered by her classmates in Idaho. The killers claimed they were influenced by a Ouija board, which told them to kill someone. The murder of Ronald DeFeo Jr. In 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. killed his entire family in their Long Island home. He later claimed that voices from a Ouija board told him to commit the murders. The murder of Raymond Robinson. In 1994, Raymond Robinson was murdered by two teenagers in England. The killers claimed they were instructed to kill him by a spirit they contacted throughout a Ouija board. The murder of Seth Gonzalez's family. In 2001, Seth Gonzalez killed his parents and sister in their Sydney home. He claimed that a Ouija board told him to commit the murders in order to inherit his family's wealth. The murder of Jenny Pierce. In 1933, Jenny Pierce was murdered by her husband in New York. He claimed that a Ouija board instructed him to kill her. The murder of Chris Gallus' family. In 2017, Chris Gallus killed his wife, stepdaughter, and her boyfriend in Virginia. He claimed that a Ouija board told him to commit the murders. The murder of Charlene O'Lothman. In 1994, Charlene O'Lothman was murdered by her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend in England. They claimed they were instructed to kill her by a spirit they contacted throughout a Ouija board. The murder of Pearl Bryan. In 1896, Pearl Bryan was murdered in Kentucky. Her killers claimed they were influenced by a Ouija board, although this claim was later discredited. The murder of Leanne Tarran. In 2000, Leanne Tarran was murdered in England. Her killer claimed he was instructed to kill her by a spirit he contacted throughout a Ouija board. These cases highlight the potential dangers of attributing actions to supernatural guidance and the serious consequences that can result from such beliefs. It's important to remember that Ouija boards are just games and should not be taken as serious sources of information or guidance. More Ouija board murder case stories. Here are some infamous cases involving Ouija boards. The murder of Betsy Aardsma. Betsy Aardsma was a graduate student at Pennsylvania State University who was stabbed to death in the university's library in 1969. Rumors circulated that her murder was linked to a Ouija board session gone wrong, but no evidence supported this claim. The murder of Stephen Parent and the Tate LaBlanca murders. The Manson family murders in 1969 involved the brutal killings of actress Sharon Tate, her friends, and others. Some reports suggested that Manson and his followers used a Ouija board to communicate with spirits, although this aspect remains controversial. The murder of Teresa Bassa. Teresa Bassa was a nurse in Chicago who was murdered in 1977. Her spirit allegedly possessed a fellow nurse, revealing details about the crime during a Ouija board session, which ultimately led to the arrest and conviction of her killer. The murder of Scott Eisenberg's grandparents. Scott Eisenberg murdered his ex-girlfriend's grandparents in Oklahoma in 2003. He claimed that he was guided by a Ouija board to commit the crime, although this defense was not successful in court. The murder of Donna Ayres. In 2010, Donna Ayres was murdered by her partner in England. He claimed that a Ouija board told him to kill her, although this claim was dismissed during his trial. The murder of Kyle Ravenscroft. In 2007, Kyle Ravenscroft was murdered by his friends in England. They claimed they were influenced by a Ouija board, which told them to kill him. The murder of Luke Mitchell's girlfriend. Luke Mitchell was convicted of murdering his girlfriend, Jody Jones, in Scotland in 2003. Some reports suggested that Mitchell was involved in occult practices, including the use of Ouija boards, although this aspect remains speculative. The murder of Marcus Wesson's family. Marcus Wesson was convicted of murdering 9 of his children in California in 2004. Although not directly linked to a Ouija board, Wesson's cult-like practices, which included bizarre rituals and beliefs, have led to speculations about the influence of occult practices in this case. These cases illustrate the complex intersections between crime, belief systems, and the supernatural, although it's important to note that in many incidences, claims involving Ouija boards are not credible or play only a minor role in the events.